All right, so this week we're in the last week of our study, and we're in John 18, looking at the statement where Jesus says, I am He. This is the most blatant I am statement. Jesus isn't speaking it figuratively here. He's not using some big metaphor. This week, Jesus is just saying, hey, I am He. I am who you're looking for. When we enter John 18 right here, Jesus has just spent a ton of time in prayer. John actually records the prayer, and then they head across the Kidron Valley and they go to this olive grove where they have prayed many times together. So the disciples were pretty familiar with this place, and this is a place where Jesus feels comfortable being. And Judas openly betrays Jesus at this point. You see, prior to this, there's been some shady behaviors of Judas. He had maybe done some things with the money that wasn't quite right, but this time, this is just open betrayal on the part of Judas. And see, from this moment on, the disciples are going to be scattered. Peter is going to deny Jesus. At this point, they're going to go through some pretty serious trials that are going to take them from the place of being hesitant followers to being just dynamic leaders. And you can see the things that they're transformed to do in the book of Acts. And at this point, Jesus just boldly makes the statement. When they say, where is Jesus? He just says, I am He. He says, I am He. And this statement evokes a reaction. They fall to the ground. Whether they're falling to the ground because they're overcome by His authority or because they're startled by His power, we don't know. But what we do know is that Jesus' divinity evokes a reaction in everyone. In Judas, it evoked the reaction of betrayal. Way back in the beginning of the Gospels, when He calls people to Him, it evokes them to drop everything and follow. And in this moment, when He declares His divinity and says, I am He, it evokes shock. They fall to the ground. And then what we see after this is Peter's desire to protect Jesus. He tries to take things into his own hands and say, hey, we can't do this. I can't have you taking Jesus away. I can't have you doing this to my leader. And he acts crazy. He cuts off a person's ear. What? Who does that? But that is the reaction evoked in Peter in that moment when he sees that his leader is about to be called away. And Jesus says, no, I got to do this. I got to do this because I am He. And so what reaction do you have to the divinity of Jesus? As we've made it through 9 weeks now of study, of looking at the character of God and then looking at the words of Jesus and seeing who Jesus is and looking at His divinity. What reaction is evoked in you?